In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Yarna Gargan for the Legacy Collection, and she was released in the very first and opening wave of the entirety of the line. So if you were around for Legacy Collection, you would know that she was probably one of the biggest peg warmers in Star Wars action figure history. I distinctively recall going to the stores back in 2008 and 9, and even towards the very end of Legacy Collection, it seemed like there was entire pegs full of her, uh, even sometimes maybe two or three entire pegs full of her. For whatever reason, well, being the opening wave of Legacy Collection, Hasbro, of course, did a lot more orders than usual. And of course, Yarna was a part of that wave. So, not exactly an action figure that everyone's probably clamoring for. So, there ended up being a lot more of her at retail than necessary. Although I was reading just a little bit ago that apparently towards the end of 2009, Hasbro sent out a memo to all the retail stores to collect all the remaining Yarna action figures, and they ended up getting destroyed. I can't verify if that's true or not, but it seemed like for me back in 2010, I still saw Yarna in stores, but could have been 2009 as well. It has been a lot of years now at this point. But if that was the case, I find that very interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if they did put out an order like that. Just to give an example now, they probably still do that because, like Ollie's, for example, my particular Ollie's had a whole bunch of Star Wars action figures that I knew never had a chance of selling. One day they're there, the next day they're all gone, so they probably all ended up getting destroyed as well. Kind of a sad story and fate for an action figure, but that is what it is, unfortunately. And back in 2009, I had zero interest in this action figure at all. She was one of those ones every time I went to the store and I saw her, I was like, oh, there's Yarna again. But fast forward to 2020, 21, I think it was 2020 actually. I ended up bidding for her on eBay and won the auction, and I'm glad she's part of my collection. The older you get, the more interested you get in characters like this, the more obscure ones. And a little bit more interesting history about her is she was originally slated to be released in the Kenner line, but unfortunately she was canceled as the line was winding down. So this was Hasbro's way of kind of paying tribute to her, I suppose. So let's take a closer look at her. Of course, she's the dancer that we see with Ula just before Ula gets sent to the Rancor Pit. Very interesting character. Interesting bit of story for her as well. If I would recommend getting online and reading a little bit about her story. Apparently, she was one of Java's favorite dancers, and just a little bit more context to that. But definitely read about it at some point. So the face, it's very good sculpting work, and the paint, I think, turned out all right. I know some of the samples were not very good. I distinctively recall back in 2008, 2009, it seemed like the paint was kind of hit or miss for her. Some were good, some were not so good. I think on mine it turned out pretty good. Although she has a almost like it's a white powder on her face and kind of gives her that ghost appearance, I suppose. You see, it's a different tone from the rest of her skin here. Has the reddish color eyebrows there as well. Her hair is a very interesting design. A lot of nice details though. A lot of nice highlights there as well. You have the basically her braided hair in the back. You have this necklace around her. And for her outfit, I think she has 6 breasts, so it's all reflected right here. I feel like Hasbro would not even bother attempting an action figure like this anymore, but I'm glad we got figures like this in the era we did. But she would deserve her own TVC action figure. Then you would have, well, I guess consider her belt, which is basically just wrapping here. And then you have her loincloth, which does help with her standing. As you can see, it drapes in the back here, and it's meant to level with her feet. Don't really need a stand for her at all. And her loincloth is a little bit tattered, but it has a lot of nice highlights in it. And then you can see her legs, knees, and her feet there. Articulation's pretty good, more than you probably expect for a character like this. I would assume she technically has a ball joint to head, but you're not going to get a whole lot of motion out of that just because of her hair sculpt there. You get a little bit of side-to-side motion. That's about it. But that's probably all you're really going to need for her anyway. And then she has a hinge at the shoulders, then hinged elbows, which go about 90, then swivel wrists. Now, I swivel at the waist, but it's at a different angle than usual. You can see that right there. It's along her belt line there. Then she does have swivel hips, then hinged knees, then hinged ankles. The loincloth here does kind of get in the way. It is a little bit more of a sturdy plastic. But you do the best you can. Looks like they even sculpted the underwear on her. Kind of see it on the sides here. In terms of accessories, so she has this nice sheath attached to her belt there, and then this knife, which pretty much has to fit inside her left hand here. Fits pretty good. Nice design. And then she has the this cup. Grip's a little wide for right hand here for my sample, but if you work with that, she can usually hold it pretty good. Something like that. And for the knife, fits pretty securely inside of the sheath there. Most of the time, that's where I have it for her. And she does have a Build-A-Droid part as well. I think it was another case where it was not very consistent. So I'm not exactly sure which Build-A-Droid part she had. And since I got this loose, she didn't have it. But I do know it was one of the R2 or the R7 droids. And here's how she looks next to Slave Leia and Ula here. I do want to get more of the Jabba's dancers. I know there's the pack that includes the deleted scene ones, like was it Lin May, I think it was, and then the female Rodian, and then the other one with the reddish hair as well. Would like to get that set at some point, and I think there are a couple other characters from like the Saga line, which they're not exactly Jabba's dancers. I think they're from the prequel trilogy, but they would definitely fit along with the theme there. Like to get all those at some point. I'm happy with the ones I have so far. I'm glad to have Yarna here. Looks great alongside Ula and Leia. Would I recommend her for your collection? I guess that depends what type of collector you are. If you're a big fan of the Jabba's Palace scene and the dancers and things like that, more obscure characters, definitely would recommend her in this case. I doubt Hasbro is ever going to revisit her ever again. I guess it's possible, but since they seem to refrain from wanting to do Slave Leia and Ula again, I imagine Yarna would be in that same category. Times change, so maybe in the future we'll finally get Yarna, but I would say for the time being, this is probably going to be the only one we get. So if you want a Yarna in your collection at all, this is your chance. And as far as prices are concerned online, I don't think they're too bad for her. Most of the time you could probably find it around retail price or even less. I think I won the auction for her somewhere in like the $10, the $20 range, which I didn't think was that bad. I have read of people finding her for even less than $10 in a lot of cases. So the point is, she's available if you want her. I'm glad she's part of my collection. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for playing more in the future. There's always more to come. If you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your support, and check out the links in the description if you haven't done so already. And as always, thanks for watching.